Bob, KA3IWS, go ahead. Go ahead, Buzz.
This Whiskey 3 Echo Mike Delta. Good morning. I couldn't copy the K3 station. And a little bit of possible build on the road for DVH. The noise is a little bit less here this week than last week. This is Buzz, W3EMD in the Hudson Valley. 100 miles north of New York City, with the AR-213, the DY-17A dynamotor, and the BC-348 with the little Tucson NPR radio, 915 kilohertz for some Q-fiber action. Nothing changed here on the radio side of the world. It's a very, very busy week now. Back and forth to New York City a couple of times for various reasons, and we didn't have any more of those huge torrential rainstorms we've had the past 2 weeks. So hope that doesn't happen again. The last one was 3 inches of rain in about an hour and a half. Didn't do any serious damage, but boy, it certainly was frightening. We actually had a tornado warning, which is unheard of in this part of the world. Other than that, things can go on as normal. So down to WU2D is your copying me. And again, thanks Ron for expanding the net. The BC610 sounds great up here. WU2D is your copying me. Over. Some modulation
Okay, I didn't get much of Mike's transmission. In fact, I had the BFO on. I was tracking his carrier. but that seems to be the way it is this morning. Although with all the lightning going on over South Carolina, I'm surprised it's as quiet as it is here. Not that it's really quiet, but signal levels are pretty good, but the static work is making progress. This is W1NZR with the Mill-Red Net, and let's see, a couple of comments. Kevin, actually, you're doing pretty well up here also, and very good on, I guess you have a KWS-1 waiting for you. And yes, the KWS-1 did find its way into military service on a number of fronts. Probably quite a few I'm not even aware of, but I know that in the mid-50s, when the Navy was considering single-side that, a number of them were put on board ship, along with 75A4s. And much like the Air Force did the same thing. There's a very famous picture of Curtis LeMay sitting at a aircraft-mounted 75A4 with a 297 transport that had been outfitted by Collins for another name for the project which escapes me at the moment. But anyway, yeah, that would be a subject for a Collins article. And Joe, good morning to you. Actually, in the midst of all of this really poor conditions, I have to say I'm copying you better than some other less noisy weeks. During your last transmission, I had a really hard time with you. So conditions are all over the place. You're putting in a fabulous signal, as usual. And Glentron, the ART-13, sounding quite good, as is yours, Bud. So, let's see. All right, well, we're at the bottom of the list, so is there anyone else that would like to join us at this point? Please call now.
Good morning, W1ZFB.
Good morning to you, Mike. Anyone else? I didn't copy anyone. Any relays? Okay, well, Mike, why don't you take it? W1ZFB, and then hand it back to me, and we'll have another round. W1ZFB and the Mill-Red Net from W1NZR.
Okay, good morning, W1ZFB and the old military radio net. Good to be on. I'm hearing most everybody. I didn't copy the call signs, but North Carolina's coming in real well. I did hear the fellow from South Carolina and Florida. And let's see, I think I heard Glenn and Buzz up there, so it's not too bad in this area. I'm getting some static crashes, but things seem to be pretty good. Running the ART-13 here and the DC-348, so things are working pretty good here. I'm hoping to go up to Berryville this time around. I developed a pinch in my nerve and back, so I'm kind of walking around on a darn crane. No, not a crane, but a cane. So we're hoping that this week coming up I get to go to the doctor and figure out what's going on. Probably a chiropractor put me back in shape. So anyway, you'll know who I am if I'm walking around in a cane up there, Brown, if you're going. I think you said you were going the last I heard. So, and I think there's a couple other folks that are going. So I'm going to go. I wasn't going to go, and then I realized, hey, you guys are going, and I really enjoy this net. So I want to get to kind of know you guys in person. Anyway, that's it from here. Brown, I'll turn it back to you. Over.
Yeah, very good, Mike. W1ZFD and the Mill-Red Net, W1NZR. BRT-13 is doing a good job. Of course, we're not that far apart. And evidently there's quite a bit of lightning off the South Carolina coast. So I'm surprised it's actually not worse, really, given the conditions, but that's the way it goes. Unfortunately, I will not be at Berryville. Most unfortunately. I had planned to, but had a couple of work schedule changes and other things, so I'm going to have to forego it for this year, most unfortunately. It's a very nice event. I've been twice so far since living down here in the South, and a very pleasant venue. Fairgrounds and a nice part of Western Virginia, very pleasant surroundings, and just a good time. So enjoy. Sorry that. All right. Once again, anyone else wishing to join before we do another round here on the Milrad Net, please call now. Okay, nothing heard, so we'll go back up to the top. It'll be WA4DDH, W3MMR, N1SNG, WD0JZG, KD3HT, KN4R, WA2EJT, KA3IWS, W3END, Whiskey Uniform 2D, and then W1ZFB, and Mike, you can hand it back to me, and we'll see if anyone else joins us at that point. So down to you, Bill. Hope you're still copying. WA4DDH and the Milrad Net from W1NZR.
WA4DDH in the old military radio net. This is W3MMR. Okay, Bill. Well, pretty light copy of that go around. If it wasn't for the static, you'd be Q5 up here this morning. But as Brown mentioned, there's a bunch of static off the coast of the Carolinas here this morning. I saw on lightning maps. So looks like that is the culprit for all the noise this morning. Mother Nature is not being kind to us, but nevertheless, got a whole slew of signal reports here. So, Bill, you're about a S8 to S9, pretty darn light. Glenn, full quieting, 25 over. You and Brown are the channel masters here this morning. Kevin, WB0JZG, about a S8 to S9, very light. Steve, good morning to you. My neighbor up north, very light here this morning. Steve, S8 to S9, not much of a copy. Brian, good morning to you. 10 to 15 over here, Brian. Great copy up here this morning. So good to hear you. Joe, decent signal, about 10 over S9 here this morning. Joe, WA2EJT, so good to hear you. Bob, IWS, pretty light, about an S9, but a Q5 copy here, Bob, so to get you in there. Good morning to Buzz with the dynamotor roaring away in the background. Buzz, about 10 to 15 over for you, Buzz, so good to hear you. Mike, W2D, you're pretty light as well, Mike, about an S8 to S9 here this morning. And Mike, W1ZFB, great signal with the ART13 this morning, about 20 over here, Mike. So that's what we got going on in southeastern Pennsylvania this morning. I'll stick in here for another round, and probably gonna make another cup of coffee. I already sucked this mug down, so trying to wake up this morning. But yeah, it's been a very busy summer thus far for myself. Haven't been doing much radio. at all. My son being here for most of the summer, he went back to South Carolina for a few weeks, but I think I mentioned he's coming back up for school, so he'll be back up before the end of August. So, but hopefully when wintertime comes around, I get a little more time to get back on some radio projects, because they are piling up here. That's for sure. So we'll keep it moving. Up to you, Glenn. And really great to hear everyone this morning. N1SNG in the old military radio net. This is W3MMR.
W3MMR, the old military radio net. N1SNG. Okay, very nice signal this morning. And just like I mentioned, Brown, your signals come up with quite a bit there. And very good morning to Steve, K3HC. About an S9 here. He's dealing with the crunchies out there in the back with the lightning, but not too intrusive. It's actual conditions. And very good morning to Mike, W2D. About an S9 here also. Buzz, you're about 20 over here with your ART-13. And the weather's been extreme in one end or the other. And, in the up in Vermont there, and other areas really have been inundated with the flooding there. It's so you really see pictures of it. It's pretty. It's a disaster, no doubt about it. But in any case, we're high and dry here, and just been working in the yard a lot. Cleaned up the basement the past 2 days. That was a lot of fun. And trying to figure out how to get things through doorways. I think I put equipment in the rooms and built around it, so I think that was the case. But anyway, just take a few appendages off the equipment to make it fit. That seemed to work all right. So always have something to do. Not necessarily in radio, but just keep it busy with retirement. It's working out well. Brown, sounds like you're pretty busy with the work scheduling and all that coming into play on some of the normal activities there, but just first things first. That's for sure. We had some company over last night. We did go out to dinner, and then we came back to the house here, so we had a kind of a good sit down at the table and good conversation and good food and ice cream and all sorts of cherry pies and all real good stuff from the local farm here. So very, very nice. But other than that, we'll get rolling along here. And Brown, thanks for running the net. I'm going to also go up and get another cup of coffee here. And I'll be back in a few minutes and continue on. So with that, get it right over to WB0JZG. Go ahead, Kevin.
Count as a military because I'll have it running one day. I've got to bring it home and go all the way through it. I think it's in pretty good shape, but before it goes on the air, there's caps to check, chokes to check, things that tend to go blurp in the night and die. So I'll get it checked out. I've got my A4 here. It's but, I'll get it on the air. And according to Art Collins in his advertising, because the single sideband AM with carrier claims that it's, even though the carrier level is low, that it should sound as loud as the KW1. Well, I believe it or not, but I've heard them on the air, and they sound pretty good with the single sideband AM, because now you've got, instead of the power spread between the two sidebands, you got it in the one. Narrow up the receiver on the receive end. The sound works pretty good. So we'll see. Hopefully it'll be loud enough to be heard. And then I'll piece of equipment on the air, which is probably the only thing I'll have that would be plowed and carried. And I like them little things, but boy, they are a pain to work on. A lot of work to keep on the air. It's not as big as the KW-1 and other military things like a T-368 and the DC-610. It's heavy, but it's not quite as ugly heavy either. And nice thing being, you can set the power supply over by the side on a table and operate it that way, or fix the transmitter up on top of the power supply next to your table with the receiver next to it. Lots of looking forward to getting that thing on the air. I don't have much SWR. I don't know what the deal is this morning. Maybe I'm talking too close to the mic and pushing it too hard. It's hard to say. I'm feeling a lot better. I've been recovering from the current version of COVID, which I got a few days ago. Started on the antiviral, and boy, I tell you what, I actually feel way better. No fever this morning. Doing a lot better. We'll be over soon. Luckily I waited until the end of the mess when it was weaker to get a hold of it, or it got a hold of me after one night stay in the hospital getting some things checked out. We'll be very home from that. Oh boy. Anyway, so we'll see. We'll get that going on the air, and I do have the Army Aviation is military too. That I guess I could pair it up with one of my transmitters. Maybe a 4CX250. I may build another 4CX250 transmitter, maybe a pair of them. 400 watts of output. A pair of them. Fully modulated, run legal limit, and it won't be quite as big and ugly and heavy as some of that stuff. So, at least then maybe I'll have a military receiver with a This is getting aggravating. With a final cage out of the 618T, sure it'll be partially military. Anyway, down to, actually I've got enough on the screen who I'm turning it to. KD3HT is your copy, and sorry about this stupid thing it's aggravating. I'll be glad when I get something else I can operate and send this in and say, just fix this thing. This is intolerable. Even at lower power, it just too temperamental. And it is not my antennas, it is not my connectors. I've isolated all of that. It's something in it. Anyway, KD3HT, over to you. WD0JZG.
Okay, Kevin. We've all been there, so don't. One piece at a time. That's all you can do until you track it down. Brown, are you hearing me better this time?
Say again, Steve?
Sound great.
Me better now?
Yeah, you're sounding good. Go ahead.
All right. It just, I didn't trust the bridge in tune for receive signal, and it's better, so I don't know. Anyway, the rains have been pretty bad. We lost a friend of the family, Perry, north of you. One of the people lost in that the flash flood in Washington's Crossing was kind of a girlfriend of my brother's, and she is going to be missed greatly. Only 53. Doesn't seem like she was in danger. Her car was fine, but we think she probably was helping other people and got washed away and found a while later, unfortunately. So very tragic event there in Washington's Crossing. 2 kids, a baby and another infant, and a couple of other people also washed away there. Anyway, yeah, it's been, we have had some torrential rain here through the week. Actually, Thursday night, it was really pounding here. I could hear it very easily in the house, and it was just pouring down. The lightning and thunder show wasn't that significant, but the rain was very, very significant. But the garden's well fed, so the opposite of no rain is probably worse than rain, and that's the way it's going to go. Anyway, here, again running the ART-13. I heard all stations that time. After retuning, I was able to hear Mike. Joe's signal is good, Buzz is good. Mike over in Virginia, good signal. I don't know, I might head out that way to Berryville. It's still kind of up in the air. It's a long drive, and for just one day. That's my issue. Now we'll see what happens. And other than that, just doing the old radio shuffle here. Nothing new, nothing newer. Same old nonsense. Let's see. I guess that's I don't have much more to say this round, so guess that's that. So I was turning it over to Brian, who I did hear quite well once I retuned. And Brian, sorry for your loss of another, ham cornerstone, so to speak. Yep, happening more and more, aren't they? KN4R in the old military radio net, KD3HT.
Okay, Steve. Very good, KD3HT in the old military radio net. This is Brian, KN4R returning. Okay, Steve. Well, your signals were much improved down here, though the QRN is also improving as well. But very good, and I'm very sorry about the loss of life up there with the flooding. I saw the news, and the little girl was just a beautiful child, so very sorry about that. So, and let's see, Kevin, well, first of all, Gary, you're the camera master down here. You're just booming in. I'll send you a little video in a bit here. And you're doing a nice job of static eliminating down here. And, 73 is the U-bill, by the way. Pretty nice signal up here as well, and congratulations on your upcoming KWS-1. And we have a friend, one of our old friends around here, Buddy, WB4ARK. He uses the KWS-1 on our AM net here, and it sounds really good. So Buddy's a great resource, WB4ARK, and also Butch, WB4NXK. Also has a lot of experience with KWS-1, so and certainly a military rig. So congratulations, and look forward to hearing it. And let's see, Joe, I copied a bit of that. Bob, very good on the T-150 and getting your full wave loop back up in the air. That's great. Buzz, always copy you good. Mike, I did not hear you last time, but hopefully this time. And I wonder what your latest video is. I've been enjoying them. And Mike in Virginia, W1ZFB, nice signal down here with the ART-13. So, I don't have much more, so let's keep it going. Joe, hope you can copy. WA2EJT in the group, KN4R. Over.
Okay, Brian, KN4R, and the old military net. This is WA2EJT. Pretty good copy on everyone that round except for WB0JZJ, who is just lost in the static here. Couple of comments. Steve, this is the first round that I've actually heard you, and boy, my condolences on the loss. Those events are always tragic, and when it's someone you know of, that really brings it home, doesn't it? And, with regard to flooding, little experience with that, and every once in a while I'm still running into a small piece or part here that wants some flood cleanup work. Here, radio-wise, I finally finished my Lambkin project. The Lambkin project is done, and I'm through with it, and moving on to my next one. I'm now using the BC348 with the BC463 cube finder. That's a nice combination, a little narrower than optimal, but works nicely. And Brian, I'm sorry to hear about the loss of the, I didn't write down the fall here, of the ham that you had mentioned, that, well, that is always beautifully. Always nice to hear your signal and its accompanying dynamotor. And okay, I see it's 10:06, so I've got about 40 minutes. This morning. I assume that's your BC610E that I'm hearing, but I didn't catch what you were using. Oh, I think it was KA3 Ida Whiskey Sugar. This is WA2BKT. Over.
Bob, KA3IWS. Joe just turned it over to you. Go ahead.
Life is good with my antenna back in the air. But, anyway, I'm going to say 73, but I'm going to listen. We got to turn it up to, let's see, Buzz. You may or may not hear me there. W3EMD.
Buzz, W3EMD. Go ahead. Bob turned it over to you.
Thanks, Brian. W1NZR and the net W3MD. Bob is about the only one that I'm really having difficulty copying at the moment. And Bill, DDH, is a little bit difficult in here. I'm not quite sure exactly where Bob is located. Be curious to know. Well, let's see. If you're copying me, Kevin, this is W3EMD. I'm a KWS1 operator. I've got a KWS1 and a KW1. So if I can be of any assistance on your KWS1, please don't hesitate to contact me. Good on QRZ.com, the email address. And pleased to help with any questions you might have. Mine is a rather late model, serial number 1392, which has the test key switch on the front panel. the later tubes in the consist. So couldn't resist commenting one comment to Glenn, pies. You mentioned pies. I have to tell the Met. My wife and I went out raspberry picking and left a lot of blood both in the mosquitoes and on the ground. But made a couple of wonderful raspberry pies. P-I-E-S, not pies as in Raspberry Pi microprocessors. So, that's the news from the Hudson Valley. Over to you, Mike, W8U2D, W3EMD, over.
Okay, I think Mike W2D turned it over to Mike W1ZFB. Not really good copy on Mike in New Hampshire. Go ahead, W1ZFB.
Yeah, I didn't hear him either. And I wanted to make a real comment to Perry W3MMR. I watched that news, and that was such a sad thing that happened up there. So my condolences to you up there, and hope things clear out. So very, very sorry to hear that. I think the weather's going to be pretty good down here for the rest of the weekend, I hope. So other than that, I'm going to turn it back to you, Brown, and I'll stick around for another one. Over.
Okay, Mike, very good. Good copy on you. Actually, Mike W2D is the only one I'm not really copying. Everyone else doing pretty well amidst oppressive conditions, shall we say, here in the middle of summer. But it could be worse, I think. Although perhaps not much. Anyway, we're all here and enjoying it. Let's see, a couple of comments. I think, Buzz, you had mentioned on the previous round about having a tornado in your vicinity, excuse me, which is uncommon. We actually had a tornado here last week. I was away for a few days, but Barbara was here, and not more than about 1.25 miles or so. Fairly large, twisted way through. Did quite a bit of damage to a small mobile home park, and evidently tore the roof off of there's a Pfizer plant down here on the other side of Route 95, closer to the city of Rocky Mount. I guess it tore the roof off of that. So I just got back uncommon here, so they can really do some damage. Let's see, what else? Oh yeah, Kevin, I think you commented on, mentioned something about 618T. The signal faded during that, but 618T, if you did mention it figured prominently in the military. A number of variants, ARC 94, ARC 102, in the Air Force role, MRC 108, 95, in the ground role, GRC 150 degrees. So, yeah, I actually have several of those. They're a fine set. A mainstay of military comms from the early 60s well into the 90s. Probably still a few around. Anyway, if you have one, get it on the air. Okay, let's see. We're at the bottom of the list. And anyone else wishing to join the MILRADNet, please call now.
Good morning, K3HVG.
Good morning, G. K3HVG. Anyone else?
Hey, good morning, N1VIV.
Wow, there's a signal we haven't heard in a while. Good morning, N1VIV. Anyone else?
I think you had one, Brown.
I didn't copy to anybody else. Any relays? No, nothing heard. Jeep, go ahead. Good signal into North Carolina. K3HVG, and then turn it over to N1VIV, and then it can come back to net control, and we'll do another round. Go ahead, Jeep. Good signal. K3HVG and the MILRADNet from W1NZR.
Okay, Brown, and good morning to you and others on the net. I can hear some hum. Maybe it's coming out of the DSP unit. Anyway, W1NZR on the net, K3HVG in Monrovia, Maryland. I'm in commercial gear this morning. I won't apologize for it, but it was a point of inconvenience. I was going to try to bring up the Valiant. I'm having keying problems with it, and didn't want to come on with something unreliable. Anyway, nothing great to report here. The Saturday morning frog. Anyway, weather-wise, we kind of dodged all the bullets. If you look at the topography around here, lots of lines of storms will come in from Ohio, West Virginia, and maybe sometimes from West Virginia. But anyway, they come across the Clockton Mountains, and that orographic lift just breaks everything up. We've needed some rain, and we've gotten a little. But you watch it go a little bit to the north, and then a little bit to the south. Northern Virginia gets hit, but that's customary. And that big storm that came through that Steve mentioned, I did see that on the radar, and Pennsylvania did get a lot of rain, but we're doing okay. I've had to cut the grass here, I think, twice, and I have a commercial service, a guy I know that comes by, and he's been by once, so it's telling. But we're putting out about 340 watts of, why? Oh, I see why. If you have the watt meter set on 200 watts, it's 10 watts. Okay. Only a project here was I bought one of those PEP adapters from A4, who sells them on various venues. I installed it in a Daiwa, a CN720, 720B. I got it all calibrated, but the thing is that the PEP numbers and the average are pretty much the same. Maybe the meter movement in those diodes is much more fast acting than one would expect, but the bottom line is the adapter isn't doing much, but it's a very well made adapter, and I'm sure for meters with not quite that fast a slew rate it would do the job. Of course the track and hold works well. I mean, it's have a slow decay and all that. So that's the deal. That's the only real project. Anyway, N1VIV to take it, and a military radio. Now K3HVG, over.
Yeah, okay, very good. K3HVG. The old military radio net. This is N1VIV in Stonington, Connecticut. Good morning. Up a bit early today and figured I'd pop in and say good morning. It has been a very, very long time, so apologies on that, Brown. But yeah, most of the time I get up around 6:30 and I might listen for a little while, but I don't check in. But it is nice to get in here this morning for a little while, and I did hear a couple of transmissions toward the end of round one there, but which I guess I'm on the tail end of round one, and didn't hear too much of folks at the beginning of the episode. I was still asleep at that point, but good to be in here. The name is Joe, Juliet Oscar Echo, and I'm located in southeastern Connecticut. Actually, right down the street from Chris, AJ1G. I'm not sure if Chris is in here this morning, but he might be. I'm not sure. And just on my homebrew rig and listening on an HQ-129. Don't have military gear in line at this moment, but I think maybe if if there's a round two, I'll switch over to my Viking 2, which is paired with a BC-348. Okay, qualifying with that with some military orientation on the air this morning. I think that shouldn't be too much of a chore. I haven't turned on that stuff in some time, so that would be a good excuse. I just wanted to pop in here at the end of round one with the homebrew rig. So good to be in here. Actually heading over to the New England Wireless and Steam Museum in East Greenwich, Rhode Island this morning. They're having a little radio roundup and mini ham fest, I guess. So I figured I'd go check that out. There's a couple of guys that I'm pretty sure are attending that I've never had a chance to meet. So looking forward to catching up with a few folks. And I'll have a little name tag to at least flag folks that I'm present. So back to you, Brown, and I'll stay for round two and see if I can get the BC-348 in listening mode and the Viking 2 in the transmit mode, and try to come back in a more proper configuration. W1NZR. This is N1VIV.
All right, Joe. Well, very nice to hear you. Yeah, it's been a while since we chatted, I think. Wow, yeah. I can't remember the last time, unfortunately. I'm down here in North Carolina now. And, yes, the New England Wireless and Steam Museum tune-up, I think, is occurring today. Glenn, I wonder if you're going to be attending. I know a number of guys will be. Unfortunately, it's a little too far for me at this point. If I was in the vicinity, I would attend. But it's good that they're having that again. There was a hiatus of a number of years for various reasons, but things are, I think, going pretty well over at the museum there. But you're doing a really good job, Joe. Conditions aren't the best this morning, but very good to hear you. And Jeep, again, good morning to you. And you're doing a very nice job here, even though it's commercial here. No problem, it really doesn't matter. But yeah, it's a bit challenging this morning. So let's see. What else was I going to come in? Oh, Perry. And again, yeah, Perry, you're They're nearly pinning the meter here on the R390A. And hope your dad's all right. Slightly conspicuous by his absence. Didn't hear him last week either. And also, I believe last week was the date of the Sussex event, but I think it was pissing with rain, so many people, including myself, avoided it. But I was thinking about it. Oh well, maybe next year. That's the way it goes. Harry, you probably, for various reasons, I think your son was there, so you wouldn't have attended. Anyway, that's the way it goes. All right, we're at the bottom of the list. Let's see if anyone else wishes to join before we make another round. This is W1NZR in the Milrad Net. Anyone wishing to join, please call now. Wow, I heard nothing. Any relays?
Nothing here, Brian.
Okay, we'll go back up to the top, and let's see, Bill, DDH is checked out, so it goes to Perry, W3MMR, N1SNG, WB0JZG, KD3HT, KN4R, WA2EJT. Bob has checked out, so Joe, it'll go over to Buzz, W3ENB, and over to Mike, and I hope I can copy him at this point. I also wonder what he's running for rig. W2D, down to W1ZFB, K3HBG, and N1VIV, and Joe, you can hand it back to me at that point. So, up to Philadelphia, W3MMR, and the Milrad Net, W1NZR. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, W1 NZR and the old Milrad Net, W3 MMR. Okay, good copy, Brown. Good copy all the way around. Good morning to everyone. Got a few comments here. Well, number one, the static crashes have really started to subside. Now that the sun's starting to come up, band's really shortening up, and static crashes have really gotten a lot better, so I'm hearing everyone a lot better. First off, Steve, yeah, man, my condolences to your friend there. That's a shame. Yeah, of course it's been a big topic of discussion about the people who were lost in the flash flooding, and they just found one of the two children who were still missing. They found the 2-year-old in the Delaware River, unfortunately. Obviously, they had perished, and but it just goes to show, like, you don't have to live in, Arizona or the desert, to get caught up in flash flooding. It could happen so fast. Boom, next thing you know, your car, you're driving along, and the water doesn't seem that deep. You say you get caught in some traffic or something, man, that water starts creeping up, and next thing you know, it's you're in a hairy situation there. But I think you said that she was trying to help other folks, which obviously makes it even more hard, gut-wrenching for friends and family. But obviously she was quite a, I guess you could say quite a hero for helping. So again, Steve, my condolences to you and your family and their family there. So anyway, what else we got here? Good morning to Jeep. Good signal up here in Joe. N1VIV. Been a long time, Joe. Hope all is well, man. Good to hear you. Big signal down here this morning. The homebrew rig, sounds fantastic. Really does. So really good to hear you, Joe. And again, hope all is well. And Brown, yeah, my dad's doing good. I think he woke up a little late this morning. And, same with last week. Which is why I don't think he got on. And as far as Sussex goes, yeah, I guess they did get a fair amount of rain, and I thought Sussex was the weekend after it actually was, and I ended up scheduling my son's return flight to South Carolina on the same day as Sussex, and I didn't realize it until the day before, so that was kind of a bummer. But like I said, I don't think like you mentioned, I don't think I missed much because of all the rain. I haven't gotten any reports, and like I said, I haven't been on the radio much this summer, and I haven't heard many guys talking about it. I remember a couple years ago when I met you, Brown, there, and I met a whole bunch of Chris, AJ1G, and Daryl, KD2AFL, and Bear. It was a big group of AMers. List goes on and on. Bobby, NY. I just didn't hear that many people talking about it this year. So I think a lot of people have been doing other things this summer, and also I think the band conditions have kind of been lackluster this summer. So nevertheless, we'll cut it short here. We'll say 7-3. Thanks, Brown, for running the net. Great job. Pleasure to hear you guys, Glenn, and the rest of the crew. Man, really good to hear you boys this morning. We'll say 7-3. We'll be listening now. We'll have the recording running here for the remainder. And again, the net will be up on YouTube hopefully by the end of the day today. So just give it a search. Today's date and the Old Military Radio Net in the search bar there. So N1SNG in the Old Military Radio Net. 7-3 guys from W3MMR. We're standing by.
Yeah, W3MMR and the Old Military Radio Net, N1SNG. Okay, very good, Perry. And good to hear your voice in here. It's been quite some time. And you're coming back with a 100% score on all you're doing there with your son and all that. Just it's good to hear that news. And hopefully we'll be chatting with you somewhere along down the line there. So you have a great day, safe day, and we'll be in touch. And Brown, thanks for running the net this morning. The noise has subsided, so you're near full quieting here. The 610 E-Rig is really doing a fabulous job, and very nice accompanying audio with that. So we got a special guest in here this morning, N1VIV Joe. It's been quite some time, and I haven't checked into the carrier net there in quite some time. Hopefully all is well. Hampton and Bennett, and things going well. And we always appreciate your net control services. It really goes a long way there. Yeah, I haven't heard from Chris, AJ1G, in quite some time, so he's probably either down at the shoreline or he's working around his house there, facilities, and doing antenna work. And he seems to be pretty busy person most of the time there. And Jeep, K3HVG, nice signals from your location this morning. And also Mike, and things are really cleared up nice here on the Old Military Radio Net. So at this time I'm also going to sign. I've been listening and working on some cleanup projects in the shack here. I don't know why I save napkins. I just have a pile of them here, and I guess I use them for some other use. So I think it's in the blood. We just have a tendency to hold on to things, and some of the things that don't interest others interest us. So we'll leave it at that. We'll say 7-3s, and everyone have a very, very safe weekend. Hopefully we'll be catching up with you next week, so maybe we'll hear some good news somewhere along down the line there. So right over to you, Kevin. And Kevin, your signals come up nicely also. So good to hear you with this WB0JZG. You're taking N1SNG, signing clear. We'll be listening.
You're probably starting to lose faith, possibly. I'm not sure you're going to Chicago coming up on Sunday quickly. I think we've got Echo I've got it, and I want it because it's his own design. I was born in 55, it was made in 55. I was born in the end of September, October film. So it's very, very early. And just my A4, which is the serial number 270 something. They're similar serial numbers. That particular location is also very old, which is why I kind of want it. That will be my old selection. It was old to me. I'm going to keep it running. And so long as I'm alive, it'll be alive. That's a good thing, see? So, but yeah, it's very old. It doesn't have the
was it turned over, Brown? Okay, there it goes. Okay. Fine business, Kevin. I lost you a little bit there. The band is getting a little short, and you were fading in and out, so it was kind of hard to see what was going on there. Pretty much hearing everybody, though. And Glenn, 73 to you. Thanks, guys, for comments. Yeah, hard. Kind of thing very shocking, you know. It sounds like, as Glenn said earlier, that we're taking on more responsibility there, and that's good. I think, watching those with his son and seeing what happens there, it's pretty hard. But yeah, it's always something going on. Let's see, radio-wise, as I said earlier, nothing really happening here except moving stuff. Jeep, good hearing you. No need to apologize for the signal up here. And was sounding good. But yeah, the weather has just been weather. You know, it's what are you gonna do? It's good and bad and different everywhere. So, Perry, you didn't miss anything at the Handfest. A friend of mine who lives very close by. He said it wasn't very well populated, and even while he was there, it started raining. So it doesn't look like it was dry at all. I mean, Bear wanted to go, Kevin wanted to go, a lot of people were looking to go, and just didn't pan out. Even Chuck and Ed were going to drive up from Delaware, but the forecast was just too bad. It happens. So, all right, I'll keep it moving here. And Brian sent me a couple beautiful pictures of the HROs using. Looks really nice. So, if I could only see my stuff instead of sitting on it. KM4R in the old military radio net, KD3HD over.
Okay, Brian, KN4R in the old military net. This is WA2JT. Well, I just made it in here. I always have to leave at 0630, and glad to be able to make one more transmission. I've been working on a couple of actual radio type projects. My Aneroid barometers, got those installed and working, and I've been consulting with a friend on a Swan 240 transceiver. Been an interesting project and a tough slog for the guy working on it because, well, he needs plenty of consulting. I'll leave things there. Brian, thank you very much for running things. And so good morning, all. This is WA2JT, over.
W1EKG. Buzz, go ahead. Joe turned it over to you.
Yeah, this is W3EMD. Okay, I had some problems here with the BC348. This W3EMD group, very good. So, not much else to report from up here. And again, I hope the weather is moderate for everybody. We don't have any more tragedies like Steve reported. I look at the lightning maps.org continually and just watch these storms as they pass by. Fortunately, most of them have missed us this week. So, but can't tell. And sorry to hear about the actual tornado that you had down there on the ground. Here, we just had a real warning, not a watch, a warning we were told to go to basements and things like that, which is impossible in this old house, but that's a different story. So, but nothing did happen. There were no tornadoes that started Dutchess family. So, that's the story. Let me turn it over to Mike, WU2D. Again, I am copying him here now better than before. This is W3EM.